Welcome to episode 13 of the Canna Machine podcast, a show about the CBD and canna industry. And I'm your host, Gary Cannaday. So whether you're a CBDer, canna curious, or blazing your own trail, there's something for you here. And on this week's show, we're talking CBD, sport, and social influence. Whether you're mauling in a rugby scrum or unleashing drop kicks and uppercuts in an octagon, if you're in sport, CBD is probably already on your radar or on your skin. And in this week's show, I talked to professional rugby player Dom Day from Four-Five CBD. Dom explains why he set up his business last year with England's George Kruis and how things have evolved when it comes to the use of CBD in professional sport. I also meet Simon from CBD Life, based in the Northeast. As well as producing their products and white labelling service, the brand also sponsors several MMA fighters too. First up, it's Dom Day from Four-Five CBD. Having played for Scarlet, Bath and Saracens during his professional career, Dom Day is no stranger to the odd injury, despite his 6'6" high frame. Along with fellow Saracens teammate, England's George Kruis, the pair found CBD was able to help aid them with both recovery and rest. And as they say, the rest is history. Here's Dom to explain more.
Yeah, so myself and George, we're the co-founders. We're professional rugby players, and so we'd been struggling with a couple of injuries a couple of years ago, and we were looking for some sort of alternative recovery methods other than sort of icing and taking pills, etc. So we decided to look deeper into what else was out there, and we stumbled across CBD, and CBD had just been legalised in sport. So it was something that we had to go at. I just had an operation myself, so I was recovering from a knee injury. We just saw great results from it. George used it to sleep. I use it basically as an everyday supplement now, as part of my everyday routine. And off the back of that, we decided to make a business out of it. We saw what was happening in North America. It was sort of really kicking off, and we knew that something was going to happen over here. So we've timed it quite well, and it's a great industry to be a part of.
With being an athlete, I imagine that the regulations are such that any product that you use in this sort of sphere needs to have very low or zero THC, doesn't it? That would probably be the barrier for using these products in the past.
Yeah, so our sort of flagship product is zero THC. We've had it tested by a company called BSCG in Los Angeles, and they test for cross-contamination of all banned substances in sport. So essentially, if a product is made in a lab that previously may have had a banned substance in, there can be some cross-contamination, so we have to be extremely careful with our products, where they're made, how they're made, what's in them. So we've gone that extra step to ensure that there's absolutely no contamination of any banned substances, just to give everyone that peace of mind to take it in sport.
Because obviously they do random drug testing in professional sport, don't they?
Yeah, we get drug tested maybe 4 times a year.
And in terms of physios, have you found that they're as welcoming and supportive about using CBD as perhaps you guys are?
Yeah, well, so when I was injured and I started using CBD, I didn't say anything to the physio, and he just noticed that I was on a bit of a plateau in terms of my recovery. I just wasn't getting better, and things kicked on and happened to coincide with me using CBD, and eventually I came clean, and obviously it was a raised eyebrow or two amongst the physios, but they've got to cover themselves. They got to be careful, and they fully understand that, which is why for us, myself and George, we've been trying to educate not just the physios but the wider community about what CBD is. But I think the most important thing is educating people about what it isn't, because I think people just think that you're out there just smoking and doing whatever, getting high, but it's just literally so far from the truth. And we're just trying to take a healthy, natural supplement to sort of help us. We work with a great supplier, and we're very comfortable with our sort of supply chain and our labs, and everything's sort of accredited. So we're very comfortable that everything is by the book and is ready to go. We can track from seed to shelf and is ready to sort of go out there to the customer.
In terms of your marketing, have you got any other areas that you're looking at the moment?
No, we've held back on a lot of marketing simply because we've managed to get a lot of press ourselves, myself and George. Just being professional athletes in this industry sort of raises an eyebrow. But it's actually, we were fully expecting people to sort of come at us and be like, what are these guys doing? Like, these are professional athletes getting involved in the cannabis industry. But it's actually been very receptive. Everyone sort of understood why we're doing it, what we're looking to do. So we've had a lot of press that side, but other than that, we've had a lot of professional athletes use our product, and that's just been a great source of marketing for us. Something that we get for free. We gift some product to people, but in return for that, we get some posts on Instagram or social media, whatever it be, and that's all we've done so far, and it's served us well. But marketing is definitely something we'll be pushing in the coming year.
Yeah, so I guess you guys are sort of what we would call influencers in yourselves, but you're also using other influencers as well.
Yeah, look, we got a great network of friends and professional athletes, so we're very lucky in that respect.
Do you have like a quote or a few words that sort of inspire you, and that could apply to business or sport?
Well, our mantra is rest, recover, rise, so I have to stick with that one. That's a tough question off the top of my head.
Rest, recover, rise.
Rest, recover, rise.
Good. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Do you see any sort of changes happening in the UK that may affect your business?
Look, we're massive advocates for some regulation, just because we know that we're playing by the rules. And it's the bad press is really hurting the industry at the minute. I think there's a lot of brands out there that are not putting what they say in the products, whether it be isolate or not as much CBD as they should be putting in. And we definitely would love to see some regulation in that respect.
And finally, if people want to get in touch or find out more about your company, where should they go?
Yeah, so they can get us online at FourFiveCBD.co.uk. or Instagram and Twitter, we're at FourFive CBD.
Next up, I chat to Simon from CBD Life. Launching in 2015, they were one of the earliest CBD companies in the UK. With Simon at the helm, CBD Life produce a range of branded products and white label services, as well as sponsor a growing team of MMA fighters. And I'm here with Simon from CBD Life. Thanks for agreeing to talk to me today, Simon.
No problem at all.
Okay, so tell our listeners a little bit about CBD Life.
CBD Life was founded back in 2015, believe it or not. One of the first in the UK when the industry was quite in its infancy. I mean, at the time, there was only really the US companies, Charlotte's Web, things like that. We got in the industry very organically. It was a family-run business. Me and my brother founded it. Got into it, just changed our lives, and we really wanted to kind of share that, and be a part of this industry. Something we're very passionate about, and it's just organically grown into what we are now. We're a manufacturer, distributor, based within the UK, Northeast. We're a manufacturer now for several brands, including our own, which is CBD Life. A range of products, try to just bring us through there's so many demographics of customers who consume CBD now, so we'll try to just have a range of products for everybody.
What were the first products that you started producing?
Like most people, it was always the oils. We were trying to stick with the full spectrum as well, wherever possible. That's what we've found to be the most beneficial for our customers. That's where obviously we've had the most experience in as well. Now we're ranging the THC-free as well, which we know a lot of people have requested for, so we'll do a range of THC-free now as well as the full spectrum. But mainly it's the oils and capsules which are the most popular, but we do a lot of inhalable products with extracts, sort of the dab extracts themselves. A lot of e-liquids. We do have vape pens. All the products are completely unique to us.
You mentioned to me that you do white labelling services for people looking to launch brands. What are some of the common questions that you get asked by new brands?
Will it be the most common product, oils? It's then what do I go for? Is it the full spectrum? Is it the broad spectrum?
Okay, so talk me through the process. Imagine that someone's coming to you, they're a new customer. What's the typical sort of process and the timeline that they go through from when they first meet you to launching a product?
Yeah, I mean, one of the hardest things now is to think of a name. Think of a name for your company, because there's that many, as you know. So kind of the design and that's the design of the branding, obviously your logo. That's going to take the longest if you have an idea for a product where you can implement it. Create a formulation and go from there. Well, normally 2 to 4 weeks to kind of get things off the ground, but it can take a lot longer than that.
And in terms of new customers who are new to this industry, what are the sort of common mistakes or pitfalls that you see these customers making?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see a lot of kind of isolate-based food supplements. Obviously, as due to novel food law in the UK, that's not something you can use. Just basically trying to understand the legal side of things. That's the most complicated, I would say. But that's something we have a lot of knowledge in.
Okay, and you mentioned that you offer a white label and private label service, and you also have your own lab as well. Is this right?
That's right. Yes. I mean, from when we started, it was all about creating the products. We wanted to have unique products to us, put our own personal touch on things. We manufacture an ISO Class 7 clean. Everything's made in-house, unique to us. Trying to increase our production capabilities now. We're moving in the edible side of things, increasing our cosmetic range as well also. Doing day and night creams and body butters, things like that. That's what we're moving into now, yes.
The CBD market in the UK has some restrictions in respect to online advertising. For example, Google pay-per-click and Facebook ads and so on. How do you guys approach advertising to sort of find a way to get to market without these?
That's a good question. It really is a good question. I mean, when we started, it was I would say probably a little bit more relaxed, and was you could even get away with Facebook advertising. Facebook at the time weren't as harsh as what they were now. But right now, there's nothing you can do in terms of the standard route. We like to sponsor a lot of athletes and influencers on social media. Social media is always, word of mouth is always going to be your best route to take. And then it's just contacting people who have influence, who can tell users of their experience. That's the best route we find.
Okay, and do you use magazines or anything, or print materials as well?
We have. That's one of the last things you can actually use, So a lot of online magazines and print magazines as well, yes, newspapers.
What will happen next 5 years? What will happen next 5 years?
Imagine you've got a crystal ball in front of you. In the next 5 years, what do you think is going to happen in the UK?
I mean, I would like to know that myself. But I mean, I think we just have to get past this whole novel food issue first now. The government deciding whether or not the CBD is classed as novel. Once that's okay, then we'll see a lot more of these larger chains, I think, taking on CBD, a lot more CBD-infused products. You're going to see it on the shelves of all your large chains, your large supermarkets. That's where I see it happening.
Could you explain a little bit more about the novel food issue for people who perhaps aren't aware of it?
So the novel food is basically it's a safety aspect. That's where it comes from. It's to make sure that the consumers obviously consume everything that they're having is safe. It starts. They define it safe whether it's been within the food chain before 1997. Was in the food chain before that, then that's not classed as novel. So that's our argument that cannabis extracts, hemp extracts have been within the food chain, not just before 1997, but for centuries.
And finally, if people want to find out more about CBD Life or chat to you about white labelling or picking up some of your products, where should they go?
Find us online at our website, which is cbdlifeuk.com, or email, which is info@cbdlifeuk. You can Google us, CBD Life, you'll find us at the top.
Awesome. Thanks a lot for that.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, well I hope that was useful for you. CBD really seems to be on an upward trend when it comes to sports, especially high-impact ones like rugby and MMA. And it's great to see folks like Simon at CBD Life able to pass on his knowledge of CBD to new startups in the industry. And before we wrap this up, last month the Dope Fiend podcast very kindly played a Canna Machine musical creation. This featured samples from some of the show's guests that you may have heard. People like Phil Monk from We the Undersigned, Guy Coxall from Hemp Tank, Greg from UKCSC and Free Cannabis. So in case you missed it, here it is again. And until next time, stay lucky.
I wanted to say, Canna Machine, thank you very much for the music. I'm going to play it again because I loved it so much. And we actually got a message. The person who appears in it, which I believe is Phil Monk, you brought him to tears, man. You made the lad cry. So I hope you're proud of yourself. I hope you're happy with yourself, making grown men cry. And we're going to close out the year with another performance of your piece. It's actually made me cry as well, by the way. Independently of Phil Monk. We're both probably crying simultaneously. Simul-crying.
We the Undersigned have a human sovereign right to cannabis. We're shortened to We the Undersigned, or WTU for real short. We are actively trying to apply pressure politically and legally to end cannabis prohibition laws. We are making a human rights challenge against the Misuse of Drugs Act. Got so damned angry with the blatant fraud, corruption and hypocrisy of cannabis prohibition. I became chronically ill with pain, disabled to the extent that I couldn't do anything. I went to pharmaceutical drugs like everyone does. I had 3 or 4 near-death experiences from side effects. I found government reports that told them the truth about cannabis. They've known since 1998. But they've put people in prison. They threatened me with prison. And that just kicked off this burning fire of righteous injustice against the whole system. I'm a human rights cannabis activist, and I'm fighting against financial and medical discrimination. I'm a criminal growing a Schedule 1 drug and threatened with 14 years in prison, but the Dutch government can grow it and call it Bedrocan and sell it back at thousands of pounds a month. And suddenly it's not a Schedule 1 dangerous drug, and they're not criminals, they're successful business people. All I want is herbal independence, self-sufficiency and sustainability. I believe everyone should have the right to grow their own because virtually everyone can afford a seed and some soil, and that's what I fight for, that's what WTU fights for.
Most people who take cannabis, whether they eat it or smoke it, normally have it for some reason. If it's reducing their stress, their anxiety, they just want to relax on an evening after work. Hanging out with your friends, getting creational. Hanging out with your friends.
CSC, with a campaign for a sensible adult regulation in the UK. We want people to be able to grow their own at home without fear
grow them out. I'm really into the fact that it's a plant and that we put the seeds in the ground and grow our own plants, and that feels to me one of the most important things at the moment. And let the sun and the rain do its work.
So many thousands of years, and corporations trying to have the monopoly like they did in the 1930s when they banned hemp. And it was nothing to do with psychoactive, it's nothing to do with THC, it was to do with the competitiveness of the hemp industry.